It's January 26th, 2024. Um, this morning, my human interaction was Lewis came up and had a conversation with me. He said that um, he was curious what my opinion was on free will. And that took a very argumentative turn of events. Um, he meant it in one way, I feel like, to lure me into a conversation. And he's at a completely different level and understanding of where I'm at the moment on free will. Um, I've recently discovered that there's these shipping lanes. Um, there's some port in New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't know how long that's been open. I think there's one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. Um, so, and then I'm looking at over and we're at, like, again, Louisiana, and then up to where we're at the mouth of the river. I'm at just previous to that at the Long Island Sound and East River. So but I'm on land and I've been landlocked. Very little time spent on the water, never been on a cruise, never been out far. Um, so what's going on around me when he asks if I feel like I've had free will, the answer is no, I don't. Um, and now to see in my lifetime, like to know, and then he's arguing with me that I had opportunity. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I was like, I finally found a job at Merrill Lynch. I was like, but Ray George, there's your name in your face, was the manager of the office. And I wasn't given like a hedge fund position. There was no training. I mean, I got my Series 7 because my father suggested it, and I knew that path, but it didn't lead anywhere. It wasn't like somebody was like, "Oh, now you have your Series 7. Here's where your career takes off from there." It was boxed into this administrative position. Um, and as I look from like the year 45 backwards, all this that's going on right now was being set up and boxing me in. I call it like the Oklahoma play, based on the Smithsonian, where there's unassigned territory in the middle, and then like there's all these Indian tribes that surround the unassigned territory. That's how I feel at the moment. But again, I'm inside of the US monetary system. There's an ONE on the back of the one ONE, in God we trust. President George Washington's on the front. He was also a general. That has significance in whatever is going on. But, and in defense of. And so I'm looking, and I'm, I know that now that these shipping lanes exist, I'm in an area in the state of New York where they've opened something called a United Nations. I have no idea what they do. Um, there's not even been any intelligent conversations with my person from any branch of service, all five. Um, so this is confusing. My first day of senior year, some brown skinned woman showed up, as I was registering for my senior year of high school, and she said that we would never meet again, but she was there because she needed did I want to be kept up to date on intelligent things, and I said yes, and then I wasn't. So that gets confusing of like, who was this person? And like, where do you, like, I have no contacts, like, who do you speak to? Um, she said that I had to call the White House. I asked for a phone number because again, that was in the 90s before the internet. Um, and she did not provide one. So that was confusing. Um, and then so there's that. Then there's all these airlines coming in and out from international. There's all these international destinations. There's a lot of international um, J2 visas for schools that they come here and they're schooling themselves. And again, like this has to do with polygamy. And like, I'm just a virgin at this point. Like, I don't have a polygamous relationship with anyone. So I don't understand how this is all taking place. And I feel like I've been taken as a sexual slave in this instance of speaking of state polygamy. Um, and I feel like some outside foreign nation is trying to subjugate me and make me their sexual slave and make me a subject of some kingdom in the in God we trust, for which I'm not being commissioned or gratuitous or whatever of any kind. And I'm stuck in this position. So yeah, it feels like my free will has been taken away. And that's really serious. So that's how I feel. Personally, when I really reflect upon it. And then I turn on the television, and like basketball used to be a white sport. We'll just be like real clear, like my color skin sport. Somehow, between when it began and was licensed as franchises until this year or till now, when I look at it, like there's like no persons that look like myself on the court. Every time I turn on the news, it is a court of like just lots and lots of not us. And I'm just like, where did people like myself go? Like they just disappeared. Um and so I'm but yet I have the biological clock feature. I bring fantasy mathematics into the flesh. So, and in symmetry, no less. So that's incredibly important and valuable piece, um, which I feel like is just being bastardized. And I feel completely out of control. I don't know how to gain my personal anonymity back and like personal control over my situation. And then I look on the TV and it's like when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of TV, but whatever TV I did watch, it was people that looked like myself. Actors, the movies, Hollywood. It was home. Now I look and it looks like some underdeveloped nation from elsewhere because that's what the commercials were when I was growing up. It looks like they've developed some plan for them. And it looks like they're trying to upstage the children, the descendants of the US monetary system. That's how I feel on the interior of this area. Being that we have 48 states, even though the polygamy department will say that we have 80, and some virgin department says that we have 72, there's only 48 puzzle pieces on this territory or this country that they've ever and that they keep showing on the globe, the maps, the whatever. So um so there's that. And then there is this barrage now of not us that's bought airspace and marketing time and almost like campaign and propaganda time. And it's like, I mean, this morning they have on, it's something, I mean, it's so foul and obscene for me. It is a something La Roche skincare company where they're rubbing lotion all over their exposed skin right on daytime television. And I'm like, it is so unattractive for me. And um it feels like mental and visual torture to have to stare at this and this be the only portal to what's going on and have this much of it. um it is just, it is sickening, honestly, knowing that I'm trapped here and there's this much skin show and this much sexual explicit, like back, like on PBS and things when I was little, the stations I was allowed to watch, there was not this like fornicative, like graphic profile coming out now. And like, I don't know if that's where they are in their cases in some court. I don't know if that's why like there's so much of them on the basketball court. But I also look to like see the children that my children are growing up with. My children are in a very low number categorically to a lot of population of something else. And I'm like, what is written in the statehood of New York? Who are the partners here? Who are the delegates? Like, I don't even have names. Like, they don't tell us anything. And I lack the network to even figure out who the heck they've been and who they are. So this is what's on the television today. And this like sexually explicit commercial, it goes from Golo into this lotion commercial. The Golo is so easy. The weight just falls off.
When my patients experience very dry skin, I recommend La Roche-Posay Lipicard Body Cream. One application a day keeps very dry skin away. La Roche-Posay Lipicard Body Cream provides 48-hour hydration and helps repair the skin barrier. Suitable for ages 2 weeks to 100 years old. La Roche-Posay, recommended by 90,000 dermatologists worldwide. I could have waited to tell my...
The commercials are now, they're like hiring models that are no longer Ford models. They're, I don't know what they are, and I don't even know if like they're Ford, and I don't even Ford even exists as a modeling agency anymore. But it is like everywhere I look, they just hired a new weatherman. They didn't hire another Lonnie Quinn or Jeff Smith or Lee Goldberg. They hired something completely different as the weatherman. Um, I was watching Star Trek, and Star Trek has this thing with Starfleet officer Kim, and he falls in love with this alien. Um, and there's this interspatial movement of like, you know, wherever when they hit the thing and they say vaporize and or energize or whatever they say, and they move. Um, again, um, there's just this, if theoretically and like not in fantasy world but in actuality something like that actually existed and it actually happened in a space and hole in time, I call it when the world stood still, but like whatever on that, um it is for real serious things. I don't understand why all of this is moving in this direction. But whatever weatherman existed in that hole in space and time for me, um, did not look anything like what's going on in this airspace at all. This airspace looks like a projection and a personification. It looks like a rivalry. It looks like a challenge to the US monetary system. And it is so sexually explicit and it is such a strong come on. and it's like forcibly touching, I mean, the room that I'm in. I didn't ask for this. I didn't vote for this. I didn't agree to this, but yet it's inescapable at this point because it's on all of the media stations. They're not broadcasting in New York in Spanish. We're English speaking. Um, it is a lot. It is all at once. It feels like upstaging, and it definitely feels like forcible, aggressive against the US monetary system. Um, and I don't know where to voice that level of concern. I'm going to pause this for a second and go back to this new weatherman that they introduced, because I know the weatherman that was introduced to me did not look this way. All right, now they have um, this commercial with this new weatherman. He's at a boat show today, um, and at something called a Javits Center.
Over to Tony Sadiku with your first alert forecast. Where are you now, Tony?
Now that we're at the Javits Center, the New York Boat Show happening this weekend. Whether you're in the market for a new boat or you're just looking for some family-friendly fun, they've got it all. Right now, though, indoor is the place to be. You got some showers to track right out the door, so be mindful of that heading out the door. Be careful on that drive. It's not super, super heavy, but it's that kind of nuisance rain that can certainly slow down the commute. From here, the rain moves out, so it's going to be trying to dry.
And then when I go to this Progressive Insurance, it's even more agitating, concerning, because they have this white man on a tricycle, pedaling behind a school bus with his hair kind of shaved and him looking like some weak figure, um, which, if that's their interpretation of the United States of America and the federal note system and the strength of the governance of it, that concerns me as well. I'm going to pause this for a second. So this is who now is on the news desk. I don't know how long this gentleman, Nate, has been here. But he's at the news desk. When I was growing up, it's not what the cast and the models that were hired for this acting job at CBS, it's not what they looked like, but here we are.
In 48 hours, how U.S. Marshals tracked down a fugitive in a case that drew international attention.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity. As if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. What are you looking at, huh? What are you? It's a one speed. And if you have cut rate car insurance, odds are you've been paying for that yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me. Hey, I'm walking here.
This, again, in the big wide world of things, from a mother's perspective and from a woman who was born here, and it feels like, I mean, I see on the television, it is just this boastful, prideful thing about how much money everybody's made, just how far they've gotten in life. They go on vacations, they have 401ks, they have houses, they have college educations, all the things that were withheld from my ability to actually obtain, along with the physical and domestic abuse that I suffered under, and not necessarily with the two toilet paper marriage certificates. There was that, but there's also been stranger danger. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.